In Majula there's this one big pit. Oh yeah, this is welcome back. And it's time to actually see what's in there. With the most ballsy and insanely stupid way. Actually, the well down here at center of Majula leads. Well, one place it leads to, well, which is on the way, is a crypt filled with all kinds of rat things. Doesn't so much for the plot or even gameplay progression, but this place, the gutter, does serve. It has quite gruesome and unpleasant things in it, in quite big numbers too. And this place and the gutter serves similar purpose then as the blight down in Dark Souls 1, which is to say the poison area. And so far to say, it is not as maze-like and difficult to navigate and treacherous to navigate as Blighttown was, but it makes it up with poison. There's so much poison in this place, and at here it's not so visible, but slightly later there's gonna be immense amounts of poison attacking, and those jars are filled with acid, which means you're gonna get poisoned and your equipment's gonna get smashed. And unlike in Dark Souls 1, in which acid was nothing but a weird gimmick which had very limited use, if even that, in Dark Souls 2 it is actually quite effective method, at least when it's used against you, which is quite common thing in Dark Souls. There's lots of auxiliary methods to use, like poison, bleeding, poisons, bleeding, toxins and stonings and cursings, all those several things, and most of them are just useless, at least when you use them, or of questionable utility, as in what's the point of trying to poison the enemies and create damage over time when you can just do just normal damage and kill the enemy much easier and faster. Yeah, that's the quite annoying design choice in my books. Why would you bring mechanics to game if they are not gonna be used or be of any value when you use them? That's of course is a quite difficult thing to balance. And Gutter is also one of the few places in the whole game where you having a light source on you is not a stupid thing. It's actually quite smart move to do. Not mostly because you wanna light all these, what's the candle stands or however you wanna call these light fixtures. And those things, those hollows out with those dark glowy blades, they can do a lot of damage to you. They are very squishy, but they do hit like a truck, which is to say very hard, very fast, or to say at least very hard. And that means you don't wanna get anywhere near them. when they are. And why my character looks like this is because he himself is become hollow. Yeah, that's what becoming hollow means in Dark Souls. You become horrifyingly rotten, ugly thing. And luckily those collapsing floors actually never collapse directly to pit. Which is a good, well thought out, because that would have been made this plane just to not hard, but having bullshit barrier, but being just obnoxious and being different genre of a game. In platform games you can expect that floor collapses and there's a pit beneath it, because you can get out of that kind of problem or that kind of hazard much easier. But in game like Dark Souls, floor collapses underneath you, you're going down. And if that down is instant death, that is very annoying. And of course the collapsed walls do remain, or correction, collapsed floors do remain collapsed. So that also makes it a bit easier to figure out where you're going, what you're doing, and that was a split second. Yeah, if I hadn't succeeded in hitting them, that it would have been a death to me. And which would have been this guy even uglier, sapped the life bar even more further, and generally being not as pleasant. And what those bug thing is, that huge ant thing which spews some fumes. Yeah, you can kill it, but that thing is just there. I don't know what's the purpose of that thing. It looks like some sort of ant queen. Or actually more like a termite queen, as in that huge bloated thing just lying and being helpless, but very important for the nest. And despite the looks, this fog wall here is just for the sake of showing where to go, making it showing a bit longer target to go. And here's another bonfire, which is handy. Makes it a bit easier to get to here, because this place is quite boring actually in itself. Just these wooden structures and scrawny as enemies, and not actually anything really interesting to explore. But the same also applied to Blythetown, except this place is much, in a sense, well, less treacherous to navigate, as in this you actually do know very easily which places you can fall into or which places you can't fall into. Oh, that was a horrifying sound. So it's time to climb down. Ouch, damn it. Now look at that damage. It's huge. It's just completely disproportionate to those things, but then again they must make these places have more challenge. So let's make the enemies very just mindless zombies, but let's make their weapons horrifyingly damaging. Yep, that's the good way to add damage. Let's be sneaky about it. No big scary monstrosity or anything like that. Just a regular, actually no, very scrawny, weak zombies, and make them so powerful, strong in that offense that you just die. And those, yes, you can jump through or go maneuver yourself through those jars, but you get soak yourself in acid, and luckily undead themselves are immune to acid, but whatever equipment they have is not. But yeah, this is the most deepest place. Actually, in a sense not, but this is very deep. Of the basic Dark Souls 2, this is the deepest you can get into. Meaning after the gutter, it's Black Gulch. With a sinister green glow. And even more of these poison spitting statuettes. I guess it's time for me to teleport upside and see what's there. Go explore some other places. And the Shaded Woods, which actually was the path you got into Drang Lake Castle, is also a path forward to another quite important place, or actually not so, in a sense, place you can go if you want to, if you want to get the 4 super big souls. It's the place to get them. We called Zeldora. And on the path there's some boss monstrosities and all that, but basically it's just a quite quick run through a forest-like place. There are side things to explore and find out, but basically it's just a path to walk through, and I'm doing it now with very fast pace. And just to show my pettiness, I killed that ghost enemy like nothing. Plot wise, you can figure out something interesting things regarding first Dark Souls, and something as in you find a big scary thing, but in this place there was a boss monstrosity to fight. Nothing, just a set piece boss. Yes, you go there, you fight it, you destroy it, and this pillarous place leads again to a, you could call it a rat place. Actually very pretty landscape in a sense, these spherical builds, or we say not spherical, cube-like structures. But the enemies in here are quite unremarkable. Malignant Grim dwarves, walking elephant monstrosities. Just nothing really bizarre. And but this is one of the this is a place you actually want to get quite early, because there is the tradesman Govlan, and he remains here on the New Game Plus, meaning you don't want to kill him, you want to let him stay alive, so you can sell all your unnecessary crap to him. And of course those Giam guys do drop their weaponry and armor occasionally, and that stuff is quite, you can say it's quite potent. Damn, the water protected that. Yeah, well, I was saying those GM guys drop weapons. At least drop weapons which are very heavy and armor which is also heavy but very efficient. But yeah. But this place, getting forward, Brightstone Cove, Zeldora. Zeldora is the name of place and Brightstone is, well, that stuff down there are Brightstone, and it was a resource to be mined, but for what purpose it was done, I don't know. Something. And you actually can use those boulders to your benefit, while peasants armed with spears, sticks and spears attack you. Yes, that's exactly what they are armed with. They're armed with sticks, pitchforks and torches. Almost stereotypical weaponry of peasants attacking, and they got dark enhancements. Yeah, so tells something about the nature of the game, that even a scraggly peasant armed with a hoe is extremely dangerous, or extremely dangerous. Normally this is where heroic fantasy, there would be nothing but a mob obstacle you can swipe away. And in here you actually want to carry your torch around. If you have a torch, the spiders don't want to attack you. Very actually smart programming from the makers. And just a slight chapel. Struggle through the place. And a bonfire. Use it just as a precaution, mostly because I don't want to do the fast running through again. And the torch is quite smart thing to carry along in this place where there's just so much of these spiders. Yeah, there's several ways to actually go through this place. Faster ways get you through faster, but they're also not necessarily those which you wanna go through, at least first, mostly because this place also has something very interesting and handy. And now I no longer have the torch on me, and there's not much sources of fire either here, so you might be a bit of trouble. And also knowing that those spiders usually just tend to lay low waiting, just to not move and do anything, makes them a bit able to, ambush you. Yeah, this is the place. Actually, this is not the place, and I made a bit of a mistake, so I must return up and see how I can go better. Now going down here, I'm actually noticing that I came the same, not too correct path again. That's the bit of annoying part of Dark Souls, or at least Dark Souls 2, is that you might actually be, in a sense, going the right way, but still you are wandering completely off. In completely unpredictable directions. And now I get another bloody invaded by a computer asshole who's wielding double crossbows. Yes, in Dark Souls you can use crossbows as a gun within a gimbo. It's not as efficient as you might think. It does have some points, but yeah, he went down quite nicely. I made it look a bit easier than it actually was, or opposite. I have to go do the fucking navigation again. Finally managed to maneuver myself around. And come on. That was pretty sweet maneuvers on my part. Even if I am gloating myself. But those things, whatever you wanna call them, they spew magic at you and don't move much, meaning once you get to their faces, they die when you kill them. And now I got a bit easier time to getting down here. The spiders are numerous, but luckily quite squishy. That ain't so. Out of all the myriad and multitude of very dangerous things, spiders are not the most worst or dangerous thing. Mostly because, well, you can keep them at bay with fire or torch. That you don't want to go to that cloud. That it smokes you. But time to open this door and have a chat with a bird lady. And she sells handy stuff. And you can also trade to her some boss weaponry, or better say boss souls, to get some weaponry. Well, I think I'm gonna go elsewhere